Hi, I'm here speaking with Christopher O'Hara of Studio NYL. Christopher will be speaking at this year's AIA conference and discussing a lot of the new technologies for facade systems and other pieces that are really helpful for architects. Chris, thank you for doing this interview, and could you just start by telling us a little bit more about Studio NYL and how you began and what has kept you successful?
Well, we began in 2004, so we're just coming up on our 10th anniversary, and we started out primarily just doing structures and then a bit of facade on the side. We now currently have a full facade consultancy firm where it's also doing thermal modeling and other waterproofing details, condensation analysis, hydrothermal, in addition to what we've always done with structure. So really what's guided our firm over the years is really just trying to push design and get to the point where our clients and our architects that we work with are never hampered by structure, and that they never feel at the end of the day, I was like, oh, I wish we could have done this, but we couldn't structurally. And that's really been the basis of what we've tried to do as a firm. And I think the people we've worked with like it, and the projects have come out great, and I feel like we're constantly raising the bar every time we take on a new job.
How do you think this has come about, and what separates you from other structural engineers in not only in the specific approach for facade technologies, but just the way you look at projects and attack them, if you will?
Well, I think the first part is just everybody on our team kind of falls in line with the passion of Julian and I have for architecture. I mean, at the end of the day, we're not as much into structure and just a standard structural engineering where we're more focused on architecture. That's what we really want to be doing, and almost thinking of ourselves more as specializing in structure in the realm of all the consultants in architecture. So that's where our passion comes from, and I think that always puts us in a role where we want to push, whether it's new technologies and materials and systems, whether it's new computer technologies, whether it's BIM, Rhino, whatever. We're always tinkering with it and seeing how far we can push it.
Well, what are you finding as you keep pushing these technologies? What is your impression, I guess, of where the architecture profession is going, and are these technologies being created to help implement more cost-effective buildings, or just better buildings, or more complex buildings?
I think the answer is yes to all of them. Sometimes it's about doing sculpture, and we do wild and crazy things, and that's great. But more often it's trying to create a better space, a better building without the astronomical budget. I mean, sometimes we do get big budgets and we're able to do the wild and crazy, but more often than not, is trying to do something special with an exceptionally meager budget and not just put up the same box that everybody else has put up for years and years. So that's a lot of it. And then on the facade side, what we also are trying to bring to the table is better performing buildings. For years we started doing where it's all about how much light we can get in, how much visible views we had, whereas now it's more about eliminating the thermal bridging, trying to have a better performing facade and still be that dynamic building that we see on the covers of magazines.
Right. Well, how can you maybe help influence architects in the way that they approach buildings in your work, and maybe some lessons learned from Studio NYL?
Well, a lot of it is why we're doing this conference, and we do a number of conferences around the country, and it's really trying to make people more familiar with what's current in the technologies. We're heavily involved in AIA. Matter of fact, I'm on the AIA North Board as a professional affiliate director. Mm-hmm. And we get heavily involved in education, whether it's through AIA, CU students. We're also involved with CSI. We've done a lot of national conferences as well as the local ones here. And we're always trying to educate that these things are not that complicated. A lot of the systems we're actually pulling out aren't even that new. It's just taking old systems and reinventing them in different ways that meet the needs of modern technology. So some of it on a project-to-project basis, we get involved earlier and earlier in the process and get involved in the precedent studies, getting involved with exactly what the vision of the building is before there's a form or there's been a compromise or anything, and really try to reach the goals of the building before it's too late. So that's what we do on a project-to-project basis. And then, as I mentioned earlier, for the people we don't actually work with, it's educating, because if everybody's doing better buildings, then eventually we're going to get the opportunity to do better projects, and that's really what we want to do. So the only way we'll be able to play with all these great systems we enjoy is to educate people on them.
Well, Christopher, we couldn't agree more. One of the unstated goals of this year's conference is really to elevate the standards of architecture in Colorado and the work that great Colorado architects do. And we just really thank you for adding so much value to the projects, and we really look forward to this talk to see how we can elevate our standards even higher. Thank you.
Well, the one thing that's neat is a lot of the projects we will talk about tomorrow are actually in Colorado. So
great.
We are keeping a lot of local ones in there.
Wonderful. Well, we really look forward to it, Christopher. Thanks.
Thanks a lot.
Okay.